Hello students, this lecture is about the appendages of your skin, the accessory structures of your skin, which lie primarily in the dermal layer, the dermis of your skin. We'll be talking about sweat glands, oil glands, the hairs and the hair follicles of your skin. The hair follicles are a structure that contain your hair shaft and the hair root. And then finally a little bit about the nails. Let's start with the sweat glands. The most important sweat gland, the majority of your sweat glands are called eccrine sweat glands. And sweat is a product that contains primarily water, 99% water, but it also contains sodium chloride, vitamin C. Notice your sweat also contains antibodies and a substance called dermacidin. And antibodies and dermacidin, they play an immune system function, an immune role to fight off bacterial and viral and fungal infections of the skin. The sweat glands, they are a gland that has a duct that connects to pores that then releases the sweat. And one of the key functions of sweating is function of thermoregulation in regulating body temperature. And here's a view of an eccrine sweat gland. Here's the sweat gland. Here is the duct. And the duct connects to a pore from which the sweat is actually released at the epidermal layer. Now, another type of sweat gland we have what is called an apocrine sweat gland. That's primarily confined to the axillary and the anogenital areas of the body. It contains oftentimes sebum will be secreted from those particular sweat glands. It's a mixture of sweat and a kind of a lipid substance. It also has ducts as well. And then we finally have these specialized apocrine glands. And here is ceruminous gland. These are glands in your external ear canal that secrete cerumen, which essentially is known in common terms as earwax. And then also the mammary glands, the glands that secrete breast milk, are a specialized sweat gland, a specialized apocrine gland. Here we have the sebaceous glands, and the sebaceous glands, they're glands associated with the hair follicles and the hairs of the skin. And the sebaceous glands, they secrete sebum. This is an oily substance that moisturizes and lubricates the skin. Notice the sebum has a bactericidal function. So it has an immune system function to also protect the skin against any kind of bacterial invasion. And again, its function is to kind of soften and lubricate the hair and the skin. And here's the sebaceous gland. Notice again that here's the sebaceous gland, and it's associated with the hair follicle. Now the hair itself, its primary functions are kind of alerting the body to presence of insects on the skin. It will guard the scalp against sunlight and heat loss. And the hair is composed of dead keratin cells, dead keratinocytes, dead keratinized cells. These are cells that are filled with keratin. It's a hard keratin. It's a little more durable than the keratin found in the keratinocytes of your skin. And then your hair also has the melanins. It has melanin proteins in it. And the melanin proteins, they'll give your hair your color. And notice that as you age and you have your hair turns gray or white, that's because of this decreased melanin production, and the hair shafts begin to accumulate air bubbles, and your hair turns color. Notice that the hair shaft extends into the hair follicle, and the hair follicle is a structure that contains the root of the hair bulb. And that we also have a hair follicle receptor that's associated with that hair shaft, and that is a sensory structure. It's a sensory nerve ending that will be stimulated. If your hair bends, that will stimulate those hair follicle receptors and give you the sensation of the hairs bending and moving. And then you also have a small, smooth muscle attached to that hair follicle and that hair shaft called the erector arpilli. And this is the muscle that will contract and will give you the sensation of goosebumps. Here, taking a look at the cross section of the hair. Here is the hair bulb. And notice here is the hair shaft. Here is the sebaceous gland. And all that will be contained within a structure called the hair follicle. Here you see, here's the hair follicle wall. And then here's the actual hair itself. And notice the hair itself is made up of small keratinized cells filled with a hard keratin protein. Finally, we'll take a look at the nail, and the key thing about the nail, it's a modification, it's a scale-like modification of the epidermis. Here we'd see the nail, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it. Here, right here, here is the bone. Here are the phalanges. Then underneath here you have a layer of skin, and then here's the actual nail itself. And the key thing that I want you to remember about the nail is that it's an epidermal tissue. It's an epithelial tissue. It's a modified epidermis that is, of course, hard and non-porous. Thank you.